There are moments in life when everything feels fractured, when the world seems heavier than it should, and even the familiar warmth of sunlight feels like a distant memory rather than a comfort. You may find yourself walking through days that stretch endlessly, carrying a weight that no one else can see, and whispering to yourself questions you can't answer. Why did this happen? Why did things break? And why must beauty always feel so fragile? There is a sacred truth hidden in that brokenness, a quiet grace that is rarely spoken aloud, the recognition that within the fractures of your life lies a kind of beauty that perfection can never offer. It is in the spaces where the edges don't fit perfectly that the light finds its way in, illuminating stories of resilience, courage, and quiet survival. Like the ancient art of kintsugi, where shattered pottery is repaired with gold, your own cracks, those lines you once wished to hide, can become the very places where wisdom and light seep through, making your existence richer and more profound than before. You might remember the times you lost someone you loved, when their absence felt like a permanent void, or when the dreams you held so tenderly crumbled in ways you never anticipated. Those are the moments when your heart questions its own strength, and your soul wonders whether it can ever be whole again. You may whisper to yourself, "I am too broken, too flawed, too far gone to ever be made whole." Yet even in that despair, there is a gentle reminder, a whisper of something larger than pain itself, telling you that brokenness is not the opposite of beauty, but a doorway to it. Romans 8:28 offers a quiet assurance. And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him. It does not mean that all things that happen are good, but that even the fragments of your life, the shattered pieces you carry in secret, can be woven into a tapestry of growth, understanding, and grace. The cracks in your story do not diminish your worth. They reveal the depth of your capacity to endure and to feel, and they make the moments of joy that much more luminous. There is a raw honesty in broken things. They no longer attempt to conceal what has been lost. They exist fully, vulnerably, authentically. And perhaps that is what the heart craves, not perfection, but authenticity. When you have been through storms and come out still breathing, your heart holds a quiet sanctity, a space where others who are hurting can rest without fear of judgment. Your scars, those lines etched by trials and tears, are not evidence of failure, but of perseverance. Each mark tells a story. Nights spent in solitude wrestling with grief, mornings greeted with trembling hope, afternoons where the sunlight felt too bright to bear. Yet even in those moments the divine presence is near, unseen but unwavering. Psalm 34:18 reminds us, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." You may not have felt it at the time, but through every trial, every moment of silent despair, you were never truly alone. There is a subtle beauty in that companionship, in knowing that even when life feels unbearably heavy, someone, or something, holds the fragments of your heart tenderly, waiting for you to see them as sacred. When life strips you bare, removing comfort, control, and certainty, what remains is a raw, tender space, a heart capable of seeing things that were previously invisible. You begin to notice the small miracles, the kindness of a stranger, the first warm breeze of spring after a long winter, the quiet resilience in your own spirit that refuses to be defeated. It is in this emptiness that you learn to recognize what truly matters, and in this recognition there is a subtle artistry. Brokenness, in its quiet way, teaches you that love is not about perfection, but about presence. It shows you that healing is not a race, not a final destination, but a series of small acts of courage and surrender. Forgiving when it hurts, opening your heart when it feels unsafe, and choosing to rise each day even when the weight of yesterday still lingers. The divine does not shy away from brokenness. It embraces it. Just as gold fills the fissures in mended pottery, every moment of loss, every tear, and every failure can be infused with purpose and meaning. Each crack becomes a pathway for light, a conduit through which growth and understanding flow. You begin to understand that pain does not define you. It refines you. It softens the hard edges of pride and fear, allowing empathy and compassion to bloom where once there was only despair. In the quiet spaces between what was and what is, you discover a sacred rhythm. The ebb and flow of grief and gratitude, the tension between what has been lost and what is being gained, the delicate dance of surrender and resilience. Even when healing feels impossible, when the night seems endless and when your own strength feels insufficient, beauty, when the world around you seems to insist on imperfection, when people, places, and even your own intentions fail in ways that feel irrevocable, it is easy to despair. Yet within this fragility lies a subtle invitation, the chance to witness the extraordinary hidden in what seems ordinary or broken. Every broken promise, every fractured relationship, every dream that has splintered apart is not merely a wound to endure. It is a portal to understanding, to depth, and to a kind of beauty that cannot be fabricated or manufactured. You may feel that your life has been reduced to fragments, scattered pieces that no longer resemble the whole you once imagined. But there is a quiet, almost imperceptible artistry in how these fragments fit together, not in their perfection, but in the very way they resist being whole, compelling you to notice the delicate light that slips into the spaces between. In these crevices, the tender work of the divine is often at its most apparent, mending in ways that are invisible to the casual observer, but luminous to those who look closely. As you walk through brokenness, you may catch yourself longing for the way things were, yearning for the illusion of completeness that comforted you before. Yet this longing is not wasted. It is part of the alchemy of growth. You begin to see that the loss itself carries lessons, that the spaces left empty are not voids, but places for new life to emerge. The gold in the broken pottery of your soul is subtle. It does not scream for attention. It does not insist upon recognition. It waits patiently, sometimes for years, until your gaze finally falls upon it, and you understand that every tear, every trembling night, every moment of despair has been a silent teacher shaping the contours of your heart in ways that nothing else could. There is a sacred paradox here. Beauty is strongest when it arises from fragility, and strength is most profound when it emerges from surrender. Romans 8:28 whispers this truth gently, reminding you that in all things, even those that break you, the work of the divine moves steadily, patiently, and toward your good. You may notice that brokenness changes the way you see others as well. Where once you judged with the swift precision of someone untouched by pain, you now approach the world with empathy, patience, and curiosity. The fractures in your own heart give you the eyes to see the fractures in others, and with them comes the ability to listen, to hold, and to comfort without expectation or judgment. It is here, in the shared understanding of fragility, that human connection becomes most profound. Your brokenness is no longer a source of shame. It becomes a bridge, allowing you to meet others at their own edges, to recognize that they too are vessels of both fragility and grace. The scars you carry are not simply remnants of past suffering. They are maps, guiding both yourself and others toward compassion, understanding, and the quiet recognition that every soul, no matter how fractured, carries within it the capacity for beauty. Perhaps most astonishing is the way that time itself interacts with brokenness. You may think that healing is linear, that it can be measured, that once the wound closes, the story ends. But life is rarely so neat. Healing arrives slowly, almost imperceptibly, and often in forms you could not have anticipated. A conversation with a friend, the sight of sunlight glinting on raindrops, a melody that stirs something long buried. These are the subtle agents of restoration, the threads that sew together fragments in ways both gentle and profound. You begin to realize that the journey itself is sacred, that the act of enduring, of continuing to engage with life despite its unpredictability, is itself a form of creation. Your brokenness becomes a living artwork, a testament to resilience, patience, and the quiet power of surrender. And yet, even as you witness the beauty emerging from your fractures, you must acknowledge the ongoing vulnerability that brokenness entails. Each day presents new opportunities for disappointment, for grief, for reminders of what was lost. You may find yourself confronting old wounds or discovering new ones, and the weight of these moments can feel overwhelming. Still, within this vulnerability, there is an unparalleled richness. Pain sensitizes the soul. It awakens the senses to nuance, subtlety, and depth. The heart that has known loss is capable of extraordinary tenderness, capable of perceiving joy in moments that might otherwise pass unnoticed. Even in the shadows, beauty exists, waiting for your attention, for your willingness to receive it with quiet, steady awareness. Isaiah 41:10 encourages you not to fear, to trust that strength and support exist even in uncertainty. So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand.